All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Sunil Verma and with me is Saira Mujtaba. The headlines. Counting of votes begins for assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Punjab, Goa and Manipur. News Services Division of All India Radio to broadcast special news bulletins and programs on results. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviews COVID-19 situation and vaccination drive across the country. Lauds healthcare workers for ensuring stellar vaccination campaign. Upper age limit for appearing in NEET UG examination removed. Youth Affairs and Sports Minister Anurag Thakur to inaugurate National Youth Parliament Festival in New Delhi today. Russian and Ukrainian foreign ministers scheduled to meet in Turkey today. Yoon Suk-yeol elected as President of South Korea. In ICC Women's World Cup, match between India and New Zealand underway in Hamilton. Top Indian shuttlers PV Sindhu, Kidambi Shrikant, Saina Nehwal and Lakshya Sen to play second-round matches at German Open in Berlin today. As we start the bulletin, we appeal to our listeners to stay safe from COVID-19 by following these 4 simple steps. Get fully vaccinated, wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing and focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Counting of votes is underway for assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Punjab, Manipur and Goa. Counting began at 8 this morning. The counting trends and results will be available on the Election Commission website and will be updated every few minutes to display the current round-wise trends and results of each constituency. The trends and results will also be accessible through Voter Helpline mobile app. In view of the ongoing pandemic and so as to ensure completely COVID-safe arrangements during counting, the Election Commission has rolled out strict COVID protocols for the counting day. The District Election Officer has been appointed as the nodal officer at each counting centre to ensure adherence to the COVID-19 related norms. Local health authorities have also been mandated to issue compliance certificates in respect of the counting centres. As per the safety measures, no candidates or poll agents will be allowed inside the counting hall without undergoing RT-PCR or rapid antigen test. However, those who have been administered both the doses of COVID vaccination will be allowed. The Commission has also prohibited public gathering outside the counting venue during the process of counting. Postal ballots will be counted first. Votes polled on the electronic voting machines, EVMs, will be counted next. Elaborate security arrangements have been made following guidelines issued by the Election Commission for smooth conduct of the counting process. The Commission has said that 671 counting observers, 130 police observers, 10 special observers will be on ground to ensure smooth counting process. Briefing the media in New Delhi last evening, Deputy Election Commissioner Chandrabhushan Kumar said elaborate and foolproof arrangements have been made at all the counting centres. The Election Commission has already banned all victory processions on or after the day of counting of votes for assembly polls in these states. Not more than 2 people will be allowed to accompany the winning candidates to receive the certificate of election from the concerned returning officer. Counting of votes for by-election to Majoli Assembly seat in Assam is also being held today. Assembly by-poll to Majoli seat was held on the 7th of March, along with that of 7th and final phase of polling in Uttar Pradesh.
In Uttar Pradesh, counting of votes is underway. All necessary arrangements are in place for counting of votes. 2 special officers have been deputed by the Election Commission for counting in Meerut and Varanasi districts. Chief Electoral Officer CEO of Delhi will supervise counting arrangements in Meerut and Bihar's CEO will oversee the counting process in Varanasi. More details from our correspondent.
Elaborate and foolproof arrangements have been made at all the counting centers in the state. A total of 84 counting centers have been set up in the state, out of which 5 counting centers are in Agra district, 2 centers each are in Amethi, Ambedkar Nagar, Devariya, Meerut and Azamgarh districts, while the rest of the districts have 1 counting center each. Chief Electoral Officer of the state, Ajay Kumar Shukla, said that all strong rooms where polled EVMs are kept were under 3-layered security with inner cordon manned by Central Armed Forces. Concerned candidates have been watching the strong room arrangements through CCTV coverage 24/7. Video and static cameras have been installed at all the counting centers and media centers have also been set up. All required protocols will be followed, keeping in loop the candidates of all political parties. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
AIR Lucknow will be doing special live coverage of state assembly elections with eminent journalists and political experts from 9 a.m. this morning. It can be heard on primary channels of AIR Lucknow and on News on AIR app. In Uttarakhand, the counting of votes is progressing smoothly for 70 assembly seats amid tight security. The state went to polls on the 14th of February in a single phase. The results would decide the political fates of 632 candidates. Prominent names among them are BJP leader and Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami, former Chief Minister and senior Congress leader Harish Rawat, BJP senior leader Madan Kaushik and Congress leader Pritam Singh. The Election Commission has made all preparations to ensure smooth, transparent and fair counting in the state. In the 2017 state assembly elections, the BJP had 157 seats while Congress got 11 seats and independent candidates had won 2 seats.
Counting is underway in Punjab also. Assembly elections in Punjab were held on the 20th of February in a single phase. The state witnessed multi-cornered contest between ruling Congress, Aam Aadmi Party, Shiromani Akali Dal and Bahujan Samaj Party SAD-BSP Alliance, Bharatiya Janata Party and Punjab Lok Congress BJP PLC Alliance and Sanyukt Samaj Morcha Party. In Manipur, counting of votes for 60 assembly seats is underway in 12 counting centres under tight security. The state went to polls in 2 phases on the 28th February and the 5th of March. The results will decide the political fate of 265 candidates, including 30 independents. More from our correspondent.
The election authority has notified 41 counting centers spread across different districts of Manipur for the counting of votes today. 3-tier security arrangements have been made in and around the counting halls and counting centers. In some districts, more than 2 counting centers has been set up to expedite the counting process. 41 general observers appointed by Election Commission of India are monitoring the counting process. Meanwhile, leaders of political party and supporters along with the candidate have started gathering at party offices. BJP is claiming that party will get more than 40 seats and the party already prepared for warm reception of its winning candidate at party office. Congress also claimed that the party will form government this time. However, the people's mandate will start opening one by one from a few hours later. JJ Thoksom, AIR News, Imphal.
In Goa also, counting of votes is underway. Our correspondent has filed this report.
In Goa, multi-layered security arrangements are in place for counting of votes for assembly elections today. Counting in the state started with postal ballots at 8 a.m. while counting from EVMs began at 8:30 this morning. Goa Chief Electoral Officer Kunal said results are expected from 11 a.m. onwards. This time, Goans will not have to wait too long for the results as the counting for all constituencies has been taken up in one go. Out of 40 constituencies in the state, 19 are in North Goa and 21 in South Goa. The results would decide the political fates of 301 candidates. Prominent names among them are incumbent Chief Minister Pramod Sawant, Deputy Chief Minister Chandrakant Kavlekar, Opposition Leader Digambar Kamath, Aam Aadmi Party Chief Ministerial Candidate Amit Palekar, Goa Forward Party Chief Vijay Sardesai, and Independent Utpal Parikar. Krishna Kumar Lal, AIR News, Panji, Goa.
Chief Election Commissioner Sushil Chandra has said that there is no question of any kind of tampering in electronic voting machines, EVMs. Talking to a news agency this morning, Mr. Chandra said that EVMs are being used continuously since 2004 during elections. He said in 2019, the Election Commission started using voter verifiable paper audit trail, VVPAT, at every polling booth. He said, after completion of voting process, EVMs are sealed in the presence of political party agents and kept in the strong room amidst tight security. He also clarified that no polled EVM can be taken out from the strong room. Mr. Chandra also said that the question raised on an EVM in Varanasi was meant for training purpose. The News Services Division of All India Radio has made elaborate arrangements for providing authentic and latest results of assembly elections from 5 states today. AIR will broadcast special bulletins and special discussions on the election results. The programs will be broadcast on AIR FM Gold at 100.1 MHz and other channels. It will also be available live on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. AIR correspondents from all the 5 states will provide latest live updates of counting of votes. Experts in studios will give comprehensive and in-depth analysis of the results. The hourly English bulletin broadcast from 12 noon onwards will be of 15 minutes duration, followed by the 15 minutes of Hindi bulletin. Apart from the special election bulletins, in-depth live discussions will be broadcast from 7:20 p.m. to 8 p.m. and an exclusive edition of Radio Bridge with experts from 5 states shall be aired from 9:15 p.m. to 10 p.m. Similarly, regional news units of AIR throughout the country will mount special programs and news bulletins in regional languages of their respective states. The results will also be available on News on AIR app and on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
You're listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Counting of votes begins for assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Punjab, Goa and Manipur. News Services Division of All India Radio to broadcast special news bulletins and programs on results. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviews COVID-19 situation and vaccination drive across the country, lauds healthcare workers for ensuring stellar vaccination campaign. Upper age limit for appearing in NEET UG examination removed. Youth Affairs and Sports Minister Anurag Thakur to inaugurate National Youth Parliament Festival in New Delhi today. Russian and Ukrainian foreign ministers scheduled to meet in Turkey today. Yoon Suk-yeol elected as President of South Korea. In ICC Women's World Cup, match between India and New Zealand underway in Hamilton. And top Indian shuttlers PV Sindhu, Kidambi Srikanth, Saina Nehwal and Lakshya Sen to play second round matches at German Open in Berlin today. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर।
8700014242।
The National Medical Commission, NMC, has removed the upper age limit for appearing in the medical undergraduate entrance exam, NEET UG examination. In a letter addressed to the National Testing Agency, NTA, the Commission asked the agency to remove the maximum age criterion from the information bulletin of National Eligibility cum Entrance Test, NEET undergraduate examination. The letter said it has been decided in the 4th NMC meeting that there should not be any fixed upper age limit for appearing in the NEET UG examination. It said the process for official notification to suitably amend the regulations on graduate medical education 1997 to this effect has been initiated. The National Medical Commission is the top regulatory body of medical education in the country. Earlier, the age limit was 25 years for general category candidates and 30 years in the case of reserved category candidates. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has appreciated the relentless efforts put in by vaccinators, healthcare workers, central and state governments in tackling the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. The Prime Minister chaired a high-level meeting last evening to review the COVID-19 pandemic situation, particularly in the context of the Omicron wave and the status of the vaccination drive in the country. The Prime Minister highlighted the significance of following the COVID-related protocols. He urged continued support from community and participation of the individuals to get vaccinated when due and follow the COVID-appropriate behavior. A detailed presentation on the global scenario and India's status of COVID-19 was given during the meeting. India's consistent efforts towards the vaccination campaign and an analysis of vaccine effectiveness to aid reduced hospitalization and low severity and mortality during the recent surge was highlighted.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi had a telephonic conversation with his Hungarian counterpart, Viktor Orbán. The two leaders discussed the ongoing situation in Ukraine and agreed on the need to ensure an immediate ceasefire and a return to diplomacy and dialogue. Prime Minister Modi conveyed his warm thanks to Hungarian Prime Minister Orbán and to the Hungarian government for facilitating the evacuation of more than 6,000 Indian citizens through Ukraine-Hungary border. The Hungarian Prime Minister conveyed his best wishes to the Indian medical students evacuated from Ukraine and said that they could choose to continue their studies in Hungary if they wished. A special flight under Operation Ganga carrying 146 Indian nationals from Ukraine landed at Hinton Air Base this morning from Romanian capital Bucharest. Minister of State for External Affairs Rajkumar Ranjan Singh received them on arrival.
Russian and Ukrainian foreign ministers will hold face-to-face talks in Turkey's resort town of Antalya today. It is the first high-level meeting between Kiev and Moscow since Russia's special military operation 2 weeks ago. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov will meet his Ukrainian counterpart Dmytro Kuleba after the third round of negotiations between their countries ended on Tuesday without any solution. The talks will be held in a trilateral format with Turkey opting to mediate between both the nations. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has expressed hope that the talks can avert tragedy and even help agree on a ceasefire. Russian President Vladimir Putin and his Turkish counterpart spoke over the phone on the 6th of March. In South Korea, opposition candidate Yoon Suk-yeol, a conservative former top prosecutor, has been elected as country's new president. Yoon Suk-yeol defeated his ruling Liberal Party opponent Lee Jae-myung in one of the country's most closely fought presidential elections held yesterday. With more than 99% of the ballots counted, People Power Party candidate Yoon won 48.6% of the votes, narrowly edging his rival Lee Jae-myung of Democratic Party, who garnered 47.8%. In his victory speech at the party office, Yoon said he will respect their constitution and parliament and work together with the opposition party to serve the people. The election comes as South Korea has been grappling with an Omicron-driven COVID-19 surge.
Back home, Youth Affairs and Sports Minister Anurag Singh Thakur will address the inaugural session of National Round of National Youth Parliament Festival NYPF 2022 today. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla will address the valedictory function of the third edition of NYPF tomorrow in the Central Hall of Parliament. Minister of State of Youth Affairs and Sports Nisit Pramanik will distribute the certificates to the participants. The top 3 national winners will also get an opportunity to speak before the Lok Sabha Speaker during the valedictory function. The objective of the NYPF is to hear the voice of the youth. We have a report.
National Youth Parliament Festival NYPF is based on the idea given by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his Mann Ki Baat address on 31st December 2017. Taking inspiration from the idea, the first edition of NYPF was organized in 2019. The third edition of NYPF was launched on 14th of last month at district level through virtual mode. More than 2,44,000 youth across the country participated in the district youth parliaments, followed by state youth parliaments through virtual mode. 87 winners, 62 female and 25 males from states and UTs, will get an opportunity to be present in the Central Hall of Parliament before the dignitaries. 29 winners of State Youth Parliament will get an opportunity to speak before the national jury today. The top 3 national winners will also get an opportunity to speak before the Lok Sabha Speaker during the valedictory function tomorrow. Anupam Mishra, AR News, Delhi.
And now let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव। Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
आप मुझे जंजीरों में जकड़ सकते हैं, यातना दे सकते हैं, इस शरीर को नष्ट कर सकते हैं, लेकिन आप कभी मेरे विचारों को कैद नहीं कर सकते।
On the evening of March the 10th, 1922, Mahatma Gandhi was arrested on charges of sedition by the British imperialist government for writing 3 politically sensitive articles in his weekly journal, Young India, published from 1919.
In his remarkable statement to the judge during the trial, Gandhi said,
I have come to the conclusion that it is impossible for me to disassociate myself from the diabolical crimes of Chauri Chaura. Non-violence is the first article of my faith, but I had to make my choice. I had either to submit to a system which I considered has done an irreparable harm to my country, or incur the risk of the mad fury of my people bursting forth when they understood the truth from my lips. I know that my people have sometimes gone mad. I'm deeply sorry for it, and I am, therefore, here to submit not to a light penalty, but to the highest penalty.
The judge, while sentencing Gandhi to 6 years imprisonment, observed,
In the eyes of millions of your countrymen, you are a great patriot and a great leader. Even all those who differ from you in politics look up to you as a man of high ideals and of noble and even saintly life.
Mahatma Gandhi was lodged in the Yerwada prison in Pune. He was not allowed to sleep in the open and was even denied a pillow. But he devised one with books and spare clothes. He kept up his daily routine of prayers and spinning. Gandhi was released from prison after 2 years as he had to undergo an appendicitis operation in 1924.
वो ममता की थी तस्वीर, हाँ वो थी एक क्रांतिवीर, वो जग को राह दिखाती थी, सबको जीना सिखलाती थी, नारी के अधिकारों के लिए हर पल आवाज उठाती थी.
We also remember revolutionary social reformer Savitribai Phule, who died on the 10th of March 1897, the pioneer of India's feminist movement. Savitribai worked to abolish the discrimination and unfair treatment of people based on caste and gender.
हर लेती थी सबकी पीर, सावित्रीबाई थी वो क्रांतिवीर.
A philanthropist and an educationist, Savitribai's contribution to literature and culture was no less. She raised issues pertaining to caste and gender through her writings and speeches. She was probably among the first published modern radical Marathi poets and writers in modern India, and was able to develop her own voice and agency at a time when women of all classes were suppressed.
माझ्या जीवनात ज्योतिबा स्वानंद जैसा मकरंद कळीकला.
Savitribai used education as a cultural tool to liberate people from structural violence. Awake, arise and educate, smash traditions, liberate was a common refrain used in her poems.
In her poem titled Go Get Education, she wrote,
Be self-reliant, be industrious, work, gather wisdom and riches. All gets lost without knowledge. We become animal without wisdom. Sit idle no more. Go, get education. End misery of the oppressed and forsaken. You've got a golden chance to learn, so learn and break the chains of caste.
Savitribai was a revolutionary leader, and despite tremendous obstacles, she rose to become an inspiring and capable teacher, leader, thinker, and writer. We salute the great Indian.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
On to sports now. In the ICC Women's World Cup, New Zealand were 181 for 4 in 34.4 overs against India in their league stage fixture at Seddon Park in Hamilton when reports last came in. Earlier, India won the toss and opted to field. The commentary of ICC Women's Cricket World Cup, which started earlier this month, is being broadcast by AIR on all its primary channels across the country, AIR FM Rainbow Network, DRM and DTH channels.
Top Indian shuttlers PV Sindhu, Kidambi Shrikant, Saina Nehwal and Lakshya Sen will play their second-round matches at the German Open in Berlin today. In women's singles, two-time Olympic medalist PV Sindhu will take on Chan Hee-man of China, while world number 25 Saina will be up against Ratchanok Intanon of Thailand. In men's singles, 8-seed Kidambi Shrikant will take on China's Lu Guangzhou, while Lakshya Sen will square off against 4th seed Anthony Sinisuka Giting of Indonesia. News just in. Counting of votes for assembly elections in 5 states are progressing smoothly. As per early trends available for 14 seats in Uttar Pradesh, BJP is leading in 7 seats, while SP in 7 seats. In Uttarakhand, trends are available for 3 seats and BJP is leading in 2 seats and Congress in 1. In Punjab, trends are available for 3 seats. Congress and SAD and Independent are leading at 1 seat each. In Manipur, trends are available for 1 seat in which ruling BJP is leading.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. The top headlines in most dailies reflect on the Assembly polls verdict and the Russia-Ukraine war. Counting day, all eyes on UP results, headlines The Statesman. Results today, EC sends Delhi Bihar officials to UP after SP complains, writes the Indian Express. With Sumay evacuation, India's Operation Ganga may wind down, headlines Hindustan Times. Last group of stranded Indians evacuated, reports The Pioneer. Kiev residents flee, Russia claims progress in talks, the Asian Age headlines. Overthrowing Ukraine government is not our goal, says Russia, writes The Hindu, quoting the Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman. Ukraine accuses Russia of bombing maternity hospital, reports The Times of India. China hopes for a step forward at the upcoming 15th round of high-level military talks with India tomorrow, writes the Asian Age. Age limit removed for admission to MBBS courses, reports the Indian Express. And finally, as part of government's infrastructure push, Indian Railways readies 1 trillion rupee infra push, writes Business Standard.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Counting of votes begins for assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Punjab, Goa and Manipur. News Services Division of All India Radio to broadcast special news bulletins and programs on results. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviews COVID-19 situation and vaccination drive across the country. Lauds healthcare workers for ensuring stellar vaccination campaign. Upper age limit for appearing in NEET UG examination removed. Youth Affairs and Sports Minister Anurag Thakur to inaugurate National Youth Parliament Festival in New Delhi today. Russian and Ukrainian foreign ministers scheduled to meet in Turkey today. Yoon Suk-yeol elected as president of South Korea. In ICC Women's World Cup, match between India and New Zealand underway in Hamilton. Top Indian shuttlers PV Sindhu, Kidambi Shrikant, Saina Nehwal and Lakshya Sen to play second-round matches at German Open in Berlin today. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.gov.in and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.